Hey everyone, Sarah Stemen here. If your Google Ads strategy right now feels like a slow, deliberate conversation with a customer, get ready. Welcome to the Google Ads Strategy Hub. Google has just handed you two different jet engines. We need to talk about the family, Performance Max and the newest player and the hot item on town, AI Max. But what you really need to understand about this shift is we have to drive the original trusted workhorse, dynamic search ads, or what I call DSA, into the ring. This isn't about which one is best. That's a real rookie question. It's about which one is the right tool for you and your specific business goal. And more importantly, the hidden structural flaws in the new AI Max that could silently break your high-performing campaigns. I have watched all the videos, I've talked to many coaching calls, and I want you to stick around because if you're in a regulated industry or if you're a large e-commerce store, the risks are real. And this is important for small businesses as well. So let's define the players, because I really want you to know that the architecture of your website matters. So let's lay out a foundation. You can't drive a car if you don't know that it's an automatic or a stick shift. These are fundamentally different ways of driving and different machines. So first, Performance Max. I want you to think about Performance Max. It is a total cross-channel AI-managed marketing department in a box. It's a campaign type that takes your budget and your assets, your images, your videos, your headlines, and it distributes them across every single Google channel. You're in search, YouTube, display, Gmail, you name it. The goal is simple: to get the most conversions wherever the users are. We always say right time, right place, right ad. The trade-off, it is more black box. You're really handing over the steering wheel and trusting the AI not to drive you off of a cliff. This is a very important distinction. So now let's add in AI Max, the newest player. So I feel like the name is confusing, and I've talked about this in other videos. AI Max is not a standalone campaign type. It's an enhancement layer to toggle on inside your traditional search campaigns. It's designed to supercharge your keywords and your ad copy using generative AI and a broader search term matching. It's like bolting a supercharger to your classic V8 engine. It keeps you on the search network, but it gives your campaign a whole new aggressive reach. And then finally, dynamic search ads. This is the OG. This is absolutely my favorite. I hope they never get rid of this. It's not a standalone campaign. It is for search. It's an ad type. I typically put them in there in campaigns, but again, it's an ad type. You can have a DSA campaign in an existing campaign. So for DSAs, their targeting is actually fairly simple. It scans your website content and matches to your user queries. It's basically, I say, it's like if you've SEO'd a landing page, your DSA is going to tell you the output of the SEO in the form of keywords. So it matches user queries. But again, it's very SEO driven on that particular website or those pages that you've given it to crawl. I find it to be reliable, it's content driven, and most importantly, it really offers granular control via page feeds. So you can tell DSA exactly which pages to target or crucially which pages to exclude, like your out of stock pages. So my takeaway really here is PMax is the whole pie. AI Max is a topping for your search pie slice, and DSA is a specialized pie or a slice all on its own. So let's talk about the control spectrum of these campaign types. So black box versus guardrails. So the central question of modern paid search is still control. How much steering do you get to do as the practitioner? So with PMax right now, I still feel like you have the most minimal control. You provide the high level goal and the audience signals, and signals are not at all exact. They're literally starting points. But at the end of the day, the AI decides which channel, which asset, and which search term to bid on. It's about letting go for that maximum reach. The results can be huge. I've seen up to 20% conversion uplifts by adding a Performance Max campaign, but I still feel like even though they've given us more, the visibility remains low. You are constantly having to look in that campaign and dig for clues. I'm constantly going into the insights and expanding the search terms and just kind of using my gut and my years of experience to figure out what it's doing. I do feel like there are also some great scripts on the market. You know, there's different ways that you can get those clues, but you are still digging. AI Max, I feel like their aim is to fix that black box problem, or basically what everybody gets upset about with PMax, but it's only within search. So you keep your campaign structure, your ad groups, your keyword lists, but it primarily works through two features, which is text customization, where your generative AI writes your ad copy. So it's not just pulling from the landing page. They do have the generative AI component. And then your final URL expansion, where the AI can route traffic to different page on your site that it thinks is more relevant. And I think this right here is where I want you to be very careful about structure. So let's say that, for example, you have a very, very high ROAS campaign and it's on high-end Italian leather sofas. If you went ahead and just enabled AI Max on this, the system might see a blog post on your site about affordable home decorating tips or just decorating tips. And it may start going after the low intent terms based on that blog post. So like a couch or cheap couch, right? Because it sees that and it's matching it up. So it's really diluting your focus, and it could potentially ruin that campaign structure that you've set to begin with, because you're taking budget from your best, most precise keywords, and you're under the guise of expanding, you're going into some lower performing ones. So I do feel like you need to be really, really careful about this. And when you're looking at large e-commerce, because the sites are just absolutely massive, I think you're going to have to be very, very careful when you lack that support for those page feeds and those exclusions. So if you had like 20,000 products or 10,000 even, and like you have a couple out of stock products, when you're working with DSAs, you can block these out of stock URLs with a simple feed. So AI Max doesn't have that as of yet. So you can't really scale your exclusions, meaning you'll inevitably end up wasting budget on products that you can't necessarily even sell. So DSA, they offer the most scalable control. You control the URLs, you can control the exclusions for volatile inventories. It's a non-negotiable insurance policy against wasted spend. The risk also that you have here is generative AI. When you're talking high automation, it's a high automation, high risk, high reward situation. DSA, they're fairly boring and reliable. It's been around for years. It pulls that headline directly from your page's title tag. No creative flair, but it's always accurate to the page. PMax uses your assets and it mixes them. You provide the ingredients and then AI bakes the cake. You have control over the inputs, not the final output. AI Max, with its generative AI, actively writes ads and headlines and descriptions based on your page content, your ads, and the user search. So the risk is that the AI spots a small, limited 20% off banner on one product page with a broad category. It might generate a huge eye-catching headline that says get 20% off all products today. Huge risk, huge risk. So that gets the click, but the user might land on a generic page where the discount doesn't actually apply. So you get that high click-through rate and a miserable conversion rate. In regulated industries like finance, health, legal, it could be a complete disaster. It could instantly create a non-compliant ad. So you have to be watching the search terms and the asset report like a hawk. So this really is going to talk about when to use and when not to use. So how do we structure this? If you're running a full asset PMax campaign, just stop. Don't touch AI Max or DSA. Their core functions are directly already built into a well-maintained Performance Max campaign. Adding them creates an overlap and budget cannibalization. Your PMax is your priority for overall full funnel conversion volume. Now, if you're a smaller business and you're only focused on search, but you want more reach, this is actually perfect for testing AI Max. Turn it on, but then you need to put in mandatory guardrails. Disable the final URL expansion from the very start. It keeps your traffic going to the precise page that you actually want it to, mitigating that big structural risk while still letting AI help you find the new queries. If you're a large e-commerce with thousands of products, DSA, I would still go with that. Keep your dedicated DSA campaign running as your fallback. It's scalable, it's insurance for the long tail keywords and URL exclusions. If you want that AI boost, run AI Max on your existing search campaigns, but with a clear negative keyword strategy. And again, I would go ahead and turn off the final URL expansion if you're that huge e-commerce store. So the future of Google Ads is automation. Your job isn't to fight it. Your job is to be the expert that provides the highest quality inputs and the most precise guardrails. You need to tell the AI where to play and, more importantly, where not to go. Look, at the end of the day, these are powerful tools, but they're not going to be magic. You are only as smart as the strategy that you wrap around the tools that you have. If you don't build the fence, the AI goat will eat your garden. If you're struggling to figure out which combination's right for your account, then you need an expert to talk about it. You can reach out to me. There's a link in the description to book a call with me, and happy to audit your account, your current structure, and give you a clear plan for testing AI Max and these AI tools without blowing up your existing performance. I'll see you in the next video.